Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this because today we're unpacking something absolutely fascinating. We're looking at how an ancient, deeply personal spiritual tradition has essentially evolved into one of the largest, most effective global food aid systems on the planet. We're talking about Qurbani. Now, it's a practice rooted entirely in faith, but as you'll see, its modern application tackles everything from global hunger to massive economic inequality.
Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. First, the tradition of Qurbani. Second, the rules of sacrifice. Third, the global hunger crisis. Fourth, delivering hope worldwide. And finally, Section 5, beyond just meat. Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, the tradition of Qurbani, a sacred legacy.
So what exactly is this? Well, whether you use the Arabic word udhiya or the Urdu and Persian word qurbani, they both mean the exact same thing, sacrifice. This is a deeply spiritual act done for the pleasure of God, performed during the days of Eid ul-Adha. It's meant to commemorate the willingness of Prophet Ibrahim to sacrifice his son Ishmael. But here's a detail that is absolutely crucial. To fulfill the religious requirement, this sacrifice has to happen strictly after the Eid prayer has wrapped up. Actually, if you do it before the prayer, it doesn't count as qurbani. It's literally just considered regular meat.
Now you might be wondering what happens to all that meat. The brilliant thing here is the built-in social welfare. You don't just keep it all for yourself. Islamic tradition divides it into 3 equal slices, kind of like a pie. 1/3 is for you, 1/3 goes to your family and friends, and that final third is distributed directly to the poor and needy. It's this beautiful, natural system where compassion starts right at home, but naturally ripples outward to the most vulnerable people in society. Moving right along to Section 2, the rules of sacrifice, ethics, and animal welfare. You know, this isn't just some chaotic free-for-all process. It is highly regulated to ensure the absolute welfare of the animal. We're talking strict Sharia compliance here. First off, only specific hooved animals are allowed: your sheep, goats, cows, or camels. And they have to meet a minimum age and be completely healthy. No apparent physical defects, no blindness, nothing like that. And the slaughter rules, they are incredibly strict. You have to use an exceptionally sharp knife to prevent any unnecessary suffering. And get this, you can never sharpen that blade in front of the animal, and no animal can be slaughtered in sight of another one. Before the act, the words Bismillah Allahu Akbar are recited, and you cannot skin the animal until the body's entirely cold. I mean, talk about a profound, deep respect for the life being taken.
Of course, in our modern world, especially if you're living in places like the US or Canada, public health and animal welfare laws usually mean backyard slaughter is a big no-go. So how do people adapt today? Well, they turn to certified local abattoirs or, increasingly, to reputable international charities like Islamic Relief, National Zakat Foundation Canada, or ICNA Relief. These organizations step in and take on the massive responsibility of making sure every single ethical guideline is followed perfectly on the donor's behalf. And that effectively expands this tradition from a local practice to a massive global scale.
Okay, Section 3, the global hunger crisis, a sobering reality.
811 million. Just let that massive number sink in for a second. That is the staggering estimated number of people around the world who go to bed hungry every single night. Because of compounding global issues, we're talking intense conflict, severe climate change, and the lingering economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic, world hunger isn't just persisting right now, it is actively rising.
To put that into perspective, that means 1 in 9 people globally are hungry. And honestly, the most tragic part of this whole situation is how it impacts kids. Nearly half of all deaths in children under 5 are due to undernutrition. That translates to roughly 3 million children dying every single year. For families trapped in this level of extreme poverty, getting fresh meat is just completely out of the question, which leads to severe nutritional gaps like anemia. So, this right here, this frames exactly why a massive coordinated nutritional boost is just so urgently needed.
Which brings us to Section 4, delivering hope worldwide. The logistics of relief.
So how do we actually fix this? Organizations deeply involved in global food aid, like Islamic Relief, have refined this operation into a brilliant, seamless 4-step process. Step 1. You, the donor, select a specific country, or you just choose a global fund that directs your money to where the need is highest. Step 2. Local staff on the ground use your donation to purchase the animal locally and prepare the meat. Step 3. These local teams, who actually know their communities inside and out, identify the families who truly need the help the most. And step 4, the gift is handed directly to that family. It's like magic. It miraculously transforms a digital click into tangible, on-the-ground aid.
And the scale of this is just wild. Look at this comparison from Islamic Relief USA. Back in 2020, their goal was to feed over 250,000 people. Fast forward just 2 years to 2022, and that goal absolutely skyrocketed to feeding over 1.4 million people. We are talking about millions of individual sacrifices aggregating into one of the largest single food-sharing programs on Earth. It's a real game changer.
Just look at the faces of the families here. When we talk about vulnerable groups, we're talking about widows, orphans, refugees, the elderly, and the disabled. For a lot of the families you're looking at, this Qurbani meat parcel is literally the only meat they will eat all year long. Let that sink in. It's not just a nice holiday treat, it is a critical, life-saving injection of calories, protein, and, honestly, pure joy.
Plus, the aid is designed with immense respect and dignity for the recipients. These aren't tiny handouts. These meat parcels are substantial. A single package is designed to provide enough nutrition for a family of 5 for at least a full week. On top of that, the type of meat provided is very carefully tailored so it's appropriate and acceptable for the specific dietary culture of that community. It's incredibly thoughtful. And the global footprint is just staggering. In 2021 alone, Islamic Relief shared Qurbani with over 823,000 people globally. This whole operation spans across dozens of countries, from Syrian refugees in Lebanon to struggling families in Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Kenya, and Malawi. The sheer scale of the whole shebang touches almost every corner of the globe.
Finally, Section 5, Beyond Just Meat, the Economic Engine. Remember step 2 of that logistics process we talked about, buying the animal locally? Well, by doing exactly that, Qurbani generates billions of dollars in the livestock trade. It doesn't just feed people, it sustains the entire local value chain. Your donation pays the local smallholder farmer, the pastoralist who actually raised the animal, the trader, and the transporter. It injects critical cash liquidity right into local markets in some of the poorest regions on Earth. And that creates an incredibly powerful multiplier effect that raises incomes for entire communities.
Think about it like this. We live in a world where we technically produce enough food for everyone, right? But hundreds of millions still starve because of terrible distribution and deep inequality. In that context, Qurbani acts as this powerful, highly decentralized mechanism for global wealth redistribution. It completely bypasses the massive, slow bureaucracy and transfers wealth directly from donors straight into local economies and hungry families' hands.
And the best part is that organizations like Islamic Relief don't just drop off food and vanish. Because they're on the ground working directly with these communities year-round, this Qurbani distribution ties into much broader, long-term efforts. We're talking about helping widows start small businesses, keeping orphans in school, and providing sustainable livelihood support for farmers. The ultimate goal is that, hey, maybe by next Eid, these families might be entirely self-sufficient.
So it really makes you wonder when you look at the sheer scale and efficiency of this whole system. Could decentralized, faith-based charity actually be the ultimate blueprint for fighting global poverty? It's a super fascinating question, and it's exactly the kind of complex, real-world system we love breaking down here. If you enjoyed this explainer and you want to keep learning about the forces shaping our world, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.